Holy cow! Where did you come from? I mean, since you're here, check it out. I've been playing some Pokemon Stadium 2. You remember that game? All the sweet mini games? Why not? It's a beautiful day outside, but you know what they say. You walk out the door, you're gonna die! So I'm not doing that. I'm gonna play some Pokemon Stadium. Life can wait for a change. I've been waiting for life my whole life, and now life can wait for me.
Wrong.
What the... Really? I do not... Hello?
What are you doing with your life?
What
you
do you...
are 30 years old, and
I know
you're
what...
on the couch playing Pokemon?
Pokemon Stadium 2.
You'll be 31 in less than a month. You need to do your responsibilities. Get up off the couch, clean yourself off.
You know what? I need to do something about this because I'm not having enough fun playing this game. It was always better to play this game with a friend.
Choose your destiny.
And it is time, once again, for It's All Fun and Games with Chad Bartlett. This time, we get to talk about Pokemon Johto, the second generation. We're talking about Gold and Silver, an expanded Pokedex, more of those wonderful monsters, and how that impacted my life, how that time was very special for me. And this was really the last generation of Pokemon that I was super into and really enjoyed. So much stuff to go into with the second generation of Pokemon, and It's All Fun and Games with Chad Bartlett. I'm ready for it. I know you're ready for it. Let's get into it. So yeah, man, like eBay was crazy at the time. People were naming cards, all kinds of crazy stuff because they didn't know the actual names of the Pokemon. And it was an exciting time because people really didn't know what to expect with limited access to internet and how that affected our lives, really. So one of the more interesting things that happened in like 1999, early 2000s was the leaking of the Johto Pokedex, the Pokemon being revealed that would be in the next game that we hadn't seen before, like Pichu. And also Meryl caused quite a stir because people believed that that was a water version of Pikachu. There were those out there that called, well, a lot of people called Meryl Pikablue for some reason or another. I guess it's because the internet wasn't what it is today. It wasn't so easily accessible, and a lot of people just didn't have it right in their homes. You had to go to the library to check your email, whatever you wanted to do online, including look up leaks about the new expanded Pokedex and the new Pokemon that were going to be coming into the franchise. And there were a lot of misrepresented, quote-unquote, fake news facts. So there were people that were calling the unknown Missing No, which was really funny. I mean, I guess I get how you could misconstrue that, especially without access to unlimited information in these crazy machines that we have. I'm currently recording on my cell phone. Technology, right? Crazy. And so these rumors were easily spread around online, and it's just really funny for me to look back on and to think about how things were back then and what we believed, because people would say it, and what was your ammunition to combat that? It's just like, oh, that's interesting. I can't disprove that at all, but we'll see what happens when they finally get released. So mostly it was within the card community. Of course, the people who played the video game were interested in the next creatures that were going to be in the game and how that game was going to be gold and silver. But it wasn't as much as I saw with the card collecting, because people were actually getting their hands on these Japanese cards before they released in America, and were just listing them on eBay as Pika Blue and missing no cards and things like that. So just really funny, something that happened back in the day. So yeah, but do you know what was really crazy? What was it? The Beckett magazines that they had like card prices in them and like sneak previews of stuff that hadn't even come to the market yet. Do you remember? You don't know anything about that. Let me show you something. So there was a demand for pricing guides and to know how much your cards were worth and what cards were coming out. As I said, the internet is a little difficult to gain access to, so these Beckett guides were very popular at the time. And this is also right around the time when the third generation of Pokemon was being leaked. And there was an article, as I was just looking through here, about, hey, what's going on with the next generation of Pokemon? And so, as you see, it says, Celebi, no longer the last Pokemon. There's more. And it's showing leaked Pokemon. So right here, they're guessing at the names. They're so funny. And this was that was hot breaking news straight from the press. You know, these are going to be the new Pokemon cards. So these magazines were super cool. As I pointed out a little bit earlier, that Willy advertisement, there's Charizard on some Willies making some sparks. We got a super patriotic Blastoise and Articuno on the back. I think this is fan art. There's a lot of really cool fan art in these, which is something that I definitely enjoy because, I mean, just think about that, man. Those are kids just like me that were illustrating this stuff and sending it into the magazine. It was so fun to see this stuff. Just imagine the thrill that those kids got when they saw that their actual drawings made it into the Beckett magazine. Here's, you know, the card prices and listings and things like that. This is how you had to keep track of things. It was really difficult for many people to agree on the prices of things when you were trading. So even if it was a little bit outdated, it was good to have this handy. And as I said in my last video, being in a shop and being informed on what the right prices were, that was a huge deal. And so, yeah, oh man, this is a set that I would really like to have. Just looking at that the other day. The Southern Island collection. Very, very cool. A lot of these cards were super neat. But these Beckett magazines, I don't know if they're collectible. I haven't really looked them up or anything. I don't know what the market is for these things, but I would probably like to get my hands on a few more of these just because it's so fun to go back through and look at this stuff and see the kinds of things. You get these, like, you know, Dragon Ball Z stuffs in here. Wow. Oh my God. Master Roshi as Santa Claus. 100% worth it to have this magazine just for that. Jingle Ball Z, it says. Wow. And look at this, even advertisement selling the Dragon Ball Z VHS tapes. Cool. All right, so yeah, the magazines, the Beckett magazines and the price guides. Always appreciate that. Dude, I'm killing it right now.
Yeah.
And you know, the mini games in this were so awesome. Pokemon Stadium 2 was great for this. Pokemon Stadium 2 was actually my favorite N64 Pokemon game by far. The mini games on this thing are so fun. Everything about it. The graphics got a little bit better. Being able to use the expanded Pokédex. This thing rocks. If you've never played Pokemon Stadium 2, just go ahead and pick it up for the mini games alone. And it is a super cool case, right? I think that they did a really good job with the design of that. And you know, again, with the cards, I pulled a Lugia super early on, and this was a huge deal when Neo Genesis dropped. This was like the Charizard of that time. People really wanted the Lugia card. I also pulled a Ho-Oh at one point in time. These cards were super nice. It continued, once again, to not take anything away from what was going on, but it added to it. Pokemon was still chugging along super strong when Generation 2 dropped, and it was obvious that people were excited about any news or any... This is when the second set for Pokemon Discovery dropped in Japan. They put out this little binder here with the Eevee Evolutions and a few other cards, and this is actually one that I have opened so I can show you. And I rebought this binder. I had the cards in my collection already, but I just wanted this because it's such a nostalgia trip for me. Ooh, I think I got a -1 on that one. But one of my favorite things, the games are great, the Beckett guides were great, the video games obviously phenomenal, but one of my favorite things about the Pokemon franchise, especially in the early days, were their movies. Oh, yeah. And Pokemon the Movie 2000 was the big feature film for the second generation of Pokemon. So, pretty great stuff. Oh yeah. And then we have Pokemon the Movie 2000, which was just sick. The Johto journey started in the animated series and was really nice. I loved how they took Ash and Misty and Brock and they went ahead and continued the story with them, which was great because in the Pokemon game, obviously the main character changes and it's not Red, it's not who you started the games with in the old games. It's another character. So I was really curious if that's what they were going to do with the animated series, which they did not. And it brought one of my favorite Pokemon movies, Pokemon 2000, which was just sick. Lugia will always be one of my favorite Pokemon. Just super cool. I just loved the look. I loved the cards. Very powerful in the game. Had a lot of fun getting Lugia. And I really enjoyed the movie. And I thought that the movie was a continuation, just like the original, the first movie. It was a continuation of Pokemon just stepping it up and keeping everything that was relevant before relevant in the new generation, introducing a bunch of super cool stuff. Probably the funniest thing out of that movie to me was Zapdos. Zapdos just screams bloody murder throughout the entire thing. I'm gonna add a clip right there, just... Zapdos was loud. Zapdos screamed like a banshee. Super funny, but the movie was great, and it was just one of those things that kept Pokemon fresh, kept me excited for it at the time. And there were hilarious aspects like Zapdos screeching like a banshee, but it was also another really good movie in the run of Pokemon movies, and not the last one. There have since been several pretty good ones, but that was one of my favorites, obviously for nostalgic reasons, but also just the quality of it in general. The cards kept getting cooler and kept being the front-running thing in the Pokemon experience for me, really, even more so than the games at one point. And the Johto journey is kind of where I stopped. It was at that point that I was getting burned out of Pokemon, and my new interest, my new hyper obsession became skateboarding. I started around 11, 10, or maybe 10, right before I turned 11, skateboarding, and I still skate to this very day on longboards now, but back in the day, I was trying to get those flip tricks. I wanted to be Rodney Mullen, but that's where I went after Pokemon. But I've gone back into the franchise, and in 2009, I believe it was, I got Soul Silver, and like I showed you my Pokewalker, and that was such a good remake. That is probably my favorite Pokemon game ever to this date, is Pokemon Soul Silver or Heart Gold. They're both really good, but you can't beat, in my opinion, Gen 1 and Gen 2 combined. They're just intertwined for me. I don't think there was quite the separation as there is now between Pokemon games and the generations of the Pokedex that have come out since. So yeah, there's just a love story from me to the world about my experience growing up with Pokemon, my nostalgia, and my currently getting back into collecting the Wizards of the Coast cards of Pokemon that they put out. So, you know, let's see what the roommates think about Pokemon. Let's see about the Renegades. Who is their favorite from Gen 1 or 2 and why? And I'm not going to ask them about this previous. I'm just going to straight up ask them randomly to see what their initial reaction to the question is. So let's see what that looks like. Hey, Nate. Yo, favorite Pokemon, Gen 1 or 2, or in Gen 1 or 2, why?
I would probably say Lugia, just because, you know, epic attacks and that look.
Hey, Jacob. Who's your favorite Pokemon from first or second generation and why?
Mewtwo, because he's a god.
Hey, Nick. Pokemon Gen 1 and 2, who's your favorite and why? Which Pokemon?
Noctowl, because I love owls.
But, you know, I saw a Game Boy Color in the streaming office when I went in there last, and I was thinking, Nate's usually up for a challenge.
Yeah, no, Chad, this is great and all, man. I'm having a blast, but I gotta go take care of some business real
We're
quick.
right in the middle of the first cut.
I know, man. Hey, I'll be right back. It'll take me just a minute.
Cutting logs, you gotta go cut a log. I got you.
Yeah, so
My Scyther probably needs a chance to rest from this winning streak, so.
Yeah, apparently so. All right, be right back.
Yep. There's gonna be another plague. There's gonna be another situation Nate has to deal with right here in this house. Something that's gonna take him down. Something that he's gonna struggle with at the very least. I'm challenging you, brother. I've got Pokemon Red, I've got Pokemon Gold, my Game Boy has batteries, it's ready to roll. I say, in the spirit of battle, we get a Game Shark, we max out our Pokemon and pick our perfect teams, we go on Pokemon Stadium 2, and you and me, brother, we get in that Pokemon ring and we lay it down. So you out there in YouTube land, you renegades, do you want to see Nate go one-on-one with me in Pokemon on Pokemon Stadium? It's up to you now, Nate. Let's hear it, crowd. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Yo! Now that I've got you right where I want you, I'm challenging you to a Pokemon battle, sucker.
Get out of here!
Me and you, dog. What do you say?
All right, challenge accepted, man. Give me a moment.
And now, friends, by this point you should have had your fill. Off with you. The shenanigans, the tomfoolery, the party humor, all has been done for you in the sake and name of entertainment, and at this point, I am famished. I require drink. I require meal. I require many things in which it takes a man to recover from such an ordeal. You found your way in, now find your way out. Why, good God, man, do you not understand? Get out!